Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing, and welcome to the final round of the TOCA Juniors official E-Series here at Oulton Park on the island layout. Myself, Jack Werrell, will be running you through all of the action for one final time this season. Tom O'Farrell will be bringing you all of the beautiful imagery you'll see throughout the evening, and of course, a massive shout out to Mick Sutton, the series organiser at Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing. Where have we been? Where did we start? We kicked off the in theory, round season spread over 8 races, still 2 to play for tonight at Silverstone. We then went to Croft just a week later. Last week, we saw the third round at Brands Hatch on the 20th of March. And of course, the season brings us here for the finale, Oulton Park on the island layout. What does the championship look like? Let's go with that. What does the championship look like at the moment? So coming into this evening, Nathan Williams is leading the juniors, and in theory leading the championship outright if you were to mix them all into the same bag on 120 points. On 84 points is Gabriel Norse. Nathan will be looking for a top 8 finish, potentially just another win to well and truly cement his championship aspirations. Albert Henriksen-Bell not too far away from Gabriel Norse, however. Second place far from decided with Albert Henriksen-Bell there. Charlie Devlin not too far away either. Only 10 points back from him is Elliot Newbury, and I'll allow you to go through the rest of the points as you wish. By way of the seniors, Jordan Taylor and Carl Felbus only 11 points apart. Jordan Taylor on 108, Carl Felbus on 97. Leo Bell, he's on 86 points, so still has a very, very outside chance of taking the senior class win. Somewhat a podium secured as Nicky Taylor, with a week off, is on 66 points. Peter Cornelius, who isn't here this evening, is in 5th at the moment in 60 points, and that effectively for him starts the KKM trio of Peter Cornelius himself, Matt Raid and Ollie Hutton. We may see that order shuffle as the evening goes on. What are they all fighting for? What do you get if you win your respective championship? So the points and prizes, as we mentioned, are awarded per class, and the champion of both the juniors and the seniors will receive a pair of weekend admission tickets to a 2025 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship round of their choosing, and drivers of the round receive a PASR cap. So for the final time this evening, one of those lucky drivers will get their hands on a PASR cap, and 2 of those lucky drivers will pick a round of their choosing to go and watch the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. By way of qualifying, that's already underway. The circuit is getting busier and busier as more cars take to the circuit and hopefully take to the front row. That is what you'll be hoping for the final time this season. Carl Felbus currently with the time to beat on a 154.808. We will see those times tumble ever more. We got very, very close to the 45s. I think we even saw a 44 over previous sessions. Over the past week, Albert Henriksen Bell, I think, put in the most amount of laps, 150, 160 something. So very, very well prepared for this evening. And he's currently just gone fastest of all in sector number 1. Carl Felbus previously held that margin. However, as he's just picking his way through the chicane following Albert Henriksen Bell and then up Clay Hill, we will see between potentially this little trio who is going to get to the front row. At the moment, it's Carl Felbus on that 45.808, which we mentioned. Nicky Taylor is just over a tenth and a half away. Albert Henriksen Bell, he's got 4 tenths to find and slightly slower in sector 2. He's almost equalised where he would have been. However, with a couple more corners to go, we head up towards Lodge. And over the Elite, what can he do about making inroads on that provisional pole time that Kyle Felbus has already set in this session? Picks the car into the apex very nicely. Careful not to run too wide, can be quite bumpy over the curbs. Over the Elite we will go, keeping that line as short as possible on the run to the start finish line. Over the line goes Albert Henriksen Bell, and for a brief moment was on provisional pole position with a 45.746. That was then bettered to provisional pole for Kyle Felbus once again on a 45.639. And then best of both of them, Nathan Williams onto the provisional pole position spot with a 1 minute 45.470. Peter Cornelius, who is here this evening, pardon me, I thought he was going to be away, but no, Peter Cornelius is here, going for a bit of a moment. So too is Ollie Wilcox, who finds himself pointing the wrong way on the exit of Lodge Corner. So we've seen that front row shuffle so much in the past, 60 seconds. We may see it shuffle ever more. Still with over 8.5 minutes to go. Really good improvement from Jacob Gannon last time through onto a 1 minute 47.3. That shuffles him right the way up the order, up into 7th place at the moment. Onto the inside of row number 4. Matt Raid down the hill, fighting away for grip. It's really about momentum in these cars. They are very light indeed, but they've not got the most monumental power figures, so you do just need to maximise your momentum and really keep that minimum speed as high as possible. And for multiple reasons around Oulton Park, that is going to be a big challenge. Nathan Williams on for yet more improvement, up in sector 1, up in sector 2. This is going to be dangerously close to a 1 minute 44. He's still hunting down those cars up the road, the first of which I think is going to be Jordan Taylor, and then it will be Albert Henriksen Bell. Nicky Taylor in the background just picking his way through Lodge Corner. He's at the back of the train. So towards the line once again. What can Nathan Williams do about extending that provisional pole margin over the line, and gains another tenth of a second onto a 1 minute 45.325. So the pole position margin now up to over 0.3 of a second. That is going to take a vast improvement from those drivers around him to try and at least thrust their way onto the front row, let alone onto provisional pole position. And you may have noticed with that timing tower on your left hand side, the gaps between drivers and their relative positions is the widest we've seen all season. Brands Hatch last week, that was down to hundredths, maybe even thousandths of a second. At Silverstone it was much the same. Croft, we saw a very outside shot at about a tenth between drivers. This evening it really does just sort of multiply the further you go down. The top 14 have got 3 seconds between them. Make that top 15, as we've just seen an improvement from Jake Critchley onto a 47.662. So he improves yet further. Nathan Williams this time going for a slightly slower lap, bringing the car back down to its optimum temperature, I'm sure. There is Catherine Potter. Up Clay Hill she will go. Slower start to the lap, but you'd imagine an improvement coming over the next lap. Looking further down the order, who else do we have on those improvements? Tom Potter improving on this lap. Leo Bell improving on this lap. There is Tom Potter over Clay Hill. He will come. Then in towards Druids. Up in sector 1, down in sector 2. Let's see what he can do in regards to yet further improvements heading through that final sector. So over the crest, I say over the crest, over the multiple crests we've got here at Oulton Park. Tricky braking zone into Lodge Corner. Keep it between the right lines, and just kissing the dirt slightly there was Thomas Potter. Over D-Elite he will go, and then towards the start-finish line. What can Tom Potter do about improving upon his position? Currently sat in 10th place. Over the line he will go. No improvement that time, however, still plenty of time to try and eke out another couple of tenths of a second. There is Charlie Devlin, who had a troubled week last week. Still yet to set a representative time, and I think going on to his first flying lap for Charlie Devlin. 22 seconds away from Nathan Williams. You'd imagine that will be well inside 2 seconds, maybe even 2/10 of a second. We could see Charlie Devlin get within Nathan Williams on his first flying lap, albeit he will be doing it on his own. There's no aerodynamic assistance for him to sap from any cars around him, and we know just how valuable that can be. We saw it at Brands Hatch, we saw it at Croft, we saw it at Silverstone, working our way backwards. But Charlie Devlin on this initial lap, yet to see improvements. Carl Felbus goes through and improves onto a 45.625, so that puts him exactly 3/10 away from Nathan Williams. Nicky Taylor improves last time through onto a 1 minute 45.809, so that puts him just inside of half a second away from provisional pole. He improved in sector 1 on this lap, not so much in sector 2, but we could still see yet further improvements. Track limits are becoming an issue for a number of drivers this evening. There's plenty of red on the timing screen, meaning that they have breached track limits somewhere out there on circuit, and for the majority that's all at the exit of turn 1. Charlie Devlin flicking his way through the chicane, and then through Knickerbrook, the very, very quick right-hander up Clay Hill. Charlie picking up a little bit of aerodynamic assistance now as he climbs up Clay Hill. Is that Elliot Newbury? He's just sat behind. Yes, I think it is. Gabriel Norse, pardon me. Charlie Devlin, purple sector 1, purple sector 2. We could see an even larger improvement. Elliot Newbury is the car that's now behind Gabriel Norse. Riding on board with Charlie Devlin, we can see Gabriel in that rear view mirror. On the brakes into Lodge Corner, bouncing over the curve very slightly on the exit. Bucketfuls of oversteer, manages to collect that moment, and towards the line. Has that just cost him those couple of hundredths that he needs? Towards the line, holds the gear for as long as possible. To the top of the times goes Charlie Devlin onto a 1 minute 45.2 exactly, and still a bit more time to find, you should imagine, with that slight moment on the exit of turn 1. Gabriel Norse very, very wide on the exit of turn 1, bouncing his way all the way through the grass, gets back onto the racing surface, but that lap will be invalidated because of the track limits infringement. Big improvements this time from Peter Cornelius, well and truly. Currently down in 17th place. We could see him inside the top 10 here if the rest of this lap goes well. In towards Lodge Corner he will go, and then under the bridge at the final little left-hander of Leap, and then towards the line will come Peter Cornelius. There goes the 45 margin which we were looking at, and it is an improvement onto a 1 minute 48.321, but unfortunately not enough to climb any further up the table for Peter Cornelius. He will remain in 17th place, albeit minimise the margin up to the car of Callum Williams. Jake Critchley still looking for yet further improvements. He's just outside of that top 10 at the moment. If he can find 3 or 4 tenths of a second, he will find himself even closer, potentially even inside the top 10 when that time comes. This lap isn't a vast improvement for him. Who else do we have improving? At the moment, the timing screen is a flood of oranges and reds sector-wise, so that indicates that either drivers are extending track limits, which appoints the red sector colour, and if it's orange, they are not improving upon even their personal best, let alone the outright best, which would flash up in purple. Over Clay Hill we have a number of cars going. That is 2 of the KKM cars, so Ollie Hutton is there. Just up the road from Ollie Hutton as we shuffle our way around, that is Matt Raid. So still with 1 minute and just over 30 seconds to go. Charlie Devlin's provisional pole is getting closer and closer to not being provisional anymore, and starting the final round of the season on that pole position marker. Over the line comes Ollie Hutton and Matt Raid. Do we see an improvement? Yes, we do, from Ollie Hutton onto a 1 minute 48.383. With 1 minute and 15 left to go, these will be the final couple of laps that we see. Who else do we have on an improvement? Nathan Williams, it by way of a response to Charlie Devlin, has set a personal best sector 1, but not an outright best. So we could see improvements from Nathan Williams. Sam Chilton really being ushered on by the cars around him. I think we've had a couple of an incident at the chicane. Involved in that is Charlie Devlin and I think Nathan Williams. So Charlie Devlin straight lines the chicane. Nathan Williams carries on, albeit with lost time in sector 2, which indicates maybe something has gone on there. Elliot Newbury recovering from a bit of a moment, I think. Just testing out the car, making sure that everything is still straight, but he won't get another lap out of this one, I don't think. Albert Henriksen Bell improved in sector 2, not in sector 1. He's running around with Nicky Taylor and Jordan Taylor. Those two always seem to find each other on the timing screen. Very, very equal drivers indeed. Over the line goes Albert Henriksen Bell for no improvement. Do we have anybody further down that did improve last time through? Ollie Hutton, as we mentioned, Gunnar Wright on his previous flying lap did improve onto a 1 minute 48.834. Peter Cornelius last time through did improve as well onto a 1 minute 47.720. Up at the top, however, we're not seeing any further improvements. Tom Potter and Jacob Gannon have already brought an end to their session as they are in the pit lane. Charlie Devlin over the line. Did he sneak another lap out of that one? No, he has gone through to take the checkered flag. So Charlie Devlin, the best he could get out of qualifying was a 1 minute 45.2. Ollie Hutton is improving marginally, but I don't think it will be enough in the late stages. Nathan Williams, however, big improvement in sector 1. He has set the overall best sector 1. We could see a last lap dash for Nathan Williams to try and get himself onto pole position. Elliot Newbury has gone through and taken the checkered flag, no improvement. The same message goes the way of Gabriel Norse. Kyle Felvis, no improvement last time through as he just breaks the beam and heads back towards turn 1. Nathan Williams, what will the timing screen say by the time he breaks the beam at sector 2? He's up on his personal best. Are we going to see Nathan Williams on the front row? That is somewhat secured as Albert Henriksen Bell isn't improving on this lap. So we will imagine Nathan Williams will be on the front row, but in which order will that front row form into the final corner, or final couple of corners I should add, for the final time in qualifying? Here comes Nathan Williams. Over DLEP will emerge, and then towards the timing beam, Nathan Williams with a 45.2 to beat a 45.101. Nathan Williams goes to the top with a very last-minute improvement by 95 thousandths of a second. Nathan Williams will be your pole sitter for the first race of the evening here at Oulton Park. Sam Chilton brings an end to his session as he dives straight for the pit lane. And we've still got a couple more cars, but you'd imagine they'll either be diving for the pit lane or making very marginal improvements as there's not much green on the timing screen. Elliot Newbury opts for the pit lane as well. Carl Felvis is still out there, but he has taken the checkered flag and will be returning to the pit lane. But Nathan Williams, your pole sitter for the first time this evening. And what a lap that was at the end of qualifying, all within those track limits as well. So Nathan Williams joins us in the commentary box, and wow, that last lap, that was magic, wasn't it? All of a sudden, picking up that time and almost a 10th clear.
Yeah, I think I knew the time was in there. I think I messed up a few of my laps at the start of quali, and then I think I was just able to pull it out the bag at the end. But I think that was probably one of the most nerve-wracking pole laps I've had towards the end of quali.
Well, it's absolutely the right time to do it, isn't it? It's when the car is effectively at its lightest. The tyres might not be in the window that you like, but the car should be a little bit more nimble. By way of the track limits around here, it's not necessarily a bad show on the circuit. It's just, it is a classic British racing circuit. It's tight, twisty, lots of undulation. Are they becoming a bit of a challenge this evening?
I normally find them more of a problem they have in this car. I think with it being rear-wheel drive, it's a bit easier to avoid track limits. But then I think there's definitely a few cases where I maybe lost a bit of lap time, just having to put on potentially a bit more steering lock to just avoid running out onto track limits.
And obviously we've only got 2 more races left of the season, so prior to any racing commencing this evening, favourite part so far this season?
Different one, I'm probably just going to say probably Croft Race 2, where I came from the back and won the race. That was probably one of the highlights. Yeah,
a very enjoyable race to watch as well. I can imagine it was such fun behind the wheel. But Nathan Williams, congratulations on pole position, and hopefully we can speak to you a couple more times this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
So good to chat to Nathan. Carl Felbus joins us in the commentary box as he has taken pole position in the senior category for this evening. Kyle, you seem to set a couple of laps which were good enough for a provisional pole on a number of occasions, but every other lap, those other drivers were just nipping you, but not by massive margins. It was only a couple of thousandths or a couple of hundredths. Is that just how close it's going to be this evening?
Yeah, definitely. I think these cars, they make for close racing, and Charlie and Nathan, they're both really quick drivers, and especially with the practice they've put in, they definitely deserve to be on the top two steps. Yeah, the cars are great fun to drive. I think a bit more power and they'd be even more fun, but they really do make for close racing.
And obviously we know at Brands Hatch and at Silverstone that really somewhat being at one with the car, so keeping the flow and the rhythm and keeping that minimum speed as high as possible really does sort of pay dividends at those circuits. But at Oulton Park, you've got a lot more undulation. There's some very heavy braking zones, which is something we've not really seen vast amounts of throughout this season. What does it take to be quick around here? Is it a very different driving style entirely?
Yeah, I think, to drive around here is completely different to, say, Brands. I mean, Brands is all about the minimum speed. Here, you've actually got to put a bit of focus in, get your lines right, and keep that minimum speed up as well. I think that definitely shows where people have, more talent on the technical circuits rather than just keeping your foot pinned to the floor and keeping up with the train. I think this one might be a bit more spread out.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing how that all plays out in race number 1, but congratulations on pole position, and fingers crossed we can speak to you again this evening.
Cheers, Jack.
So always great to talk to Kyle. In the brief interim we have between now and race number 1, we will have a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back, everybody, and the grid has formed for race number 1 of the final round here at Oulton Park in the 2025 and inaugural TOCA Juniors official eSeries. Still a few more spots to fill. Both the Taylors are there in their Dayglow yellow cars. You can't really avoid them. They are very, very bright indeed. Nicky Taylor's the brighter of the two. Obviously it's emblazoned in the Dayglow yellow, as are both the Taylor brothers, but with it being orange, Dayglow orange also joining his car, very, very bright indeed. And we must just take a moment, of course, to admire all the other liveries that we've got out there. They've really put on a show for us this season and have been produced in very, very high quality indeed. One of the angriest looking cars on the grid are any of the KKM cars, as we are seeing now. We've got a number of other drivers still just yet to join the grid. The countdown is continuing, and we're only, 15 seconds away from getting the race underway. There are the lights. We will wait for them to illuminate. Once all 6 lights extinguish, we will be able to get the race underway. Do we have a blank spot on the grid? It looks like we may. We'll try and pick out. Carl Felbus hasn't joined us on the grid, but as the 6 red lights extinguish, who gets the best start? It's a good start from Jordan Taylor, who draws himself level with Nicky Taylor, and in fact just about gets in front by the time we arrive at turn number 1. Carl Felbus opting for a pit lane start in the first race of this evening. We'll see what that does to the championship as the evening wears on. A couple of drivers running wide and rattling their way over the grass, but Nathan Williams at the front has got a little bit of breathing room between himself and Charlie Devlin. Albert Henriksen Bell getting slightly crossed up in the braking zone down the hill. Nicky Taylor with a big moment in the background as well. That leaves him vulnerable to Gabriel Norse. We've got another couple of cars running wide further back, and another car going, a couple of cars going for a very, very wild ride on the run down towards the island hairpin. Thankfully, they get it stopped before they arrive at the hairpin or return to the circuit. So other than those two parting ways with the racing surface, everybody else will continue on. Nathan Williams, last time we looked, had a couple of car lengths between himself and Charlie Devlin. Now it's not even a full car length, you'd imagine. Very, very tight on the inside curve there for Nathan. So he's maximised every inch of tarmac that he can get out of this lap. So Carl Felbus has returned to the pit lane once again. Don't know what that will do for the championship, because he had an outside chance of winning the senior class. Here comes Charlie Devlin with a look to the inside. Nathan Williams starves him for room at the first apex of Druids. The second apex of Druids, they arrive, and Charlie Devlin has got a brilliant run under the vehicle bridge, and then towards Lodge Corner. Charlie Devlin goes for the lead, a bit of contact in a straight line. He pushes Nathan Williams slightly towards the white line on the exit. Albert Henriksen Bell was trying to figure out exactly where there was going to be room for him, but Charlie Devlin does take the lead away just at the exit of the first lap. So Charlie Devlin into the lead, Nathan Williams in second place, Albert Henriksen Bell in third. Jordan Taylor is in something of a lonely fourth place, but isn't that far away from the leading trio, and yet more cars running wide. Nicky Taylor stumbles down the order a little bit more. So too does Elliot Newbury. He's dropping down the order, but for the lead, Nathan Williams and Charlie Devlin make contact. So Nathan Williams spins through 90 degrees. Charlie Devlin a full 180. Albert Henriksen Bell goes through to take the lead, or did he? He was slightly hampered by the spinning cars up the road. So Jordan Taylor is leading the race outright. Albert Henriksen Bell in second place. Leo Bell third. Gabriel Norse in fourth place. Then we find Thomas Potter, Nicky Taylor, Sam Chilton, Jacob Gannon, Jake Critchley, who just about gets in front of Nathan Williams, who manages to redress in 10th place. What of Charlie Devlin? He's right the way down in 14th at the moment, so he's trapped up and behind the car of Matt Raid. He's got Elliot Newbury behind, so it's a KKM sandwich. Well, in theory, it's a Charlie Devlin sandwich, with KKM bread. Jordan Taylor leading the way, albeit under big, big pressure now from Albert Henriksen Bell, and he's, well, everybody for third place. Leo Bell, Gabriel Norse, Nicky Taylor, and Thomas Potter. Yet more action in the background, unfortunately. I think is that Sam Chilton? Yes, it is. So Sam Chilton goes spearing off the circuit, but here comes the challenge for the lead. Albert Henriksen Bell just about gets up the inside. Side by side through Druids isn't something you see very often at all. Towards Lodge Corner, it wasn't enough. Jordan Taylor will hold on to the lead. Sam Chilton manages to rejoin the circuit, albeit in 19th, make that 20th place as Finley goes through and by. Leo Bell just about losing out on third place as Gabriel Norse on the brakes up the inside at Lodge Corner. Over Dialib, he'll be under even more pressure now from Nicky Taylor, who's trying to extend his claws even deeper into that top five. Leo Bell going very defensive indeed, somewhat boxing Nicky Taylor in, not giving him an opportunity to get up the inside. And in turn, that almost mounted a challenge for third place once again. But Gabriel Norse has managed to get himself the slightest bit of breathing room. Nicky Taylor still applying that pressure. Thomas Potter with the best seats in the house watching this all unfold in front of him, but he wants to be part of it. He wants to get into that top five and potentially onto the third and final step of the podium. By way of class leaders, Albert Henriksen Bell is still leading the senior class, albeit in second place. Big, big move for Nicky Taylor. Late on the brakes, up the inside. Is he going to try and make it 2 for 1? He gets through and past Leo Bell and will immediately be on the coattails of Gabriel Norse. So class leaders, Jordan Taylor leading the race outright, leading the senior class. Albert Henriksen Bell leading the junior class. And then it's Gabriel Norse third overall, second in the junior class. Nicky Taylor is second in the senior class. Leo Bell third in the senior class. So that was a change for not only position outright, but for the podium positions in the senior class. And Thomas Potter at the moment is third in the junior class, albeit under big pressure from Nathan Williams, who's trying to recover what he can from race number 1. Thomas Potter comes over to defend the inside line at Druids. Make sure that Nathan Williams has no other option to go to the outside, all fall back into line, of which Nathan Williams decides the latter is definitely the best way to go. Leo Bell currently sat in 5th place. Albert Henriksen Bell has gone through to take the race lead, through and past Jordan Taylor. Nicky Taylor has gone through and past Gabriel Norse. So again, the Taylors always seem to find themselves somewhat together. Gabriel Norse and Nicky Taylor in the background scrapping away. Albert Henriksen Bell not really defending the lead from Jordan Taylor, didn't feel the need to, and absolutely right at turn 1, holds on to the outright race lead. Here comes Nicky Taylor up the inside of Gabriel Norse. No, not quite enough. That leaves Nicky Taylor vulnerable to Leo Bell as they head along the avenue and in towards Cascades. So Nicky Taylor holds on to that inside line and will hold on to 4th place for now. Gabriel Norse currently sat there in 3rd place. He'll be watching this all unfold in his rearview mirror and just hoping that he can extend a little bit more of a margin. Nathan Williams did indeed get through and past Thomas Potter. So Thomas Potter goes flying, or just drops down the order. Nathan Williams flying through the order, I should say. We saw him rejoin in 10th place. Leo Bell really starting to apply pressure onto Nicky Taylor for 4th place. This is slowing the pair of them down and allowing Gabriel Norse just to extend a bit of a margin between himself and the sparring duo behind, in towards the chicane side by side. You don't see this very often. Nicky Taylor has the favoured line for the middle part, but by the time they arrive at Knickerbrook, he is in front and secures 4th place once again. That will be momentarily, because Leo Bell is now under pressure from a recovering Nathan Williams. And what a recovery drive it's been so far. He mentioned that his favourite part of the season up until this evening was race 2 at Croft, where we saw him start at the very back of the order, climb his way all the way to the top and to go through to take the win. And Nathan Williams is having a very, well, Nathan Williams-esque drive at the moment. He's up 5 places, and with him being in 5th place at the moment, don't rule him out for a race win if you can really start to up this lap on lap pace. Albert Henriksen Bell in the lead is only, what, half a second clear of Jordan Taylor at the moment. Nicky Taylor is the next car on the hit list for Nathan Williams, having got through and past Leo Bell. Over the start finish line they go with 12.5 minutes of the race remaining. Gabriel Norse in something of a lonely 3rd place. He's got a second back to Nicky Taylor and the best part of 4 up to Jordan Taylor. So there is Jake Critchley a little further down the order. He's just got himself inside that top 10 after working his way through and past Aaron Beattie, who currently sits 10th in the junior class, and he's going to need a monster drive if he wants to climb his way yet further up the order. However, he is outscoring Jack Price, who is the driver sat 3rd in the junior class. He's got Elliot Newbury just sat behind him, does Aaron Beattie. Along the straight there we'll go, over the crest and then back in towards one of the heaviest braking zones we'll have here this evening. Aaron Beattie coming over to defend, really doing what he can to hold on to that position, but Elliot Newbury late on the brakes, dives his way up the inside. There is Jacob Gannon, who is applying the pressure onto Charlie Devlin. I think those two have just swapped around. Charlie Devlin, of course, we saw him rejoin down in 15th place. He's up into 8th and hunting down Nathan Williams. These two always seem to lock horns. We always see Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams fighting away, no matter the category or discipline of racing, really. But Albert Henriksen Bell's lead extends by another 0.2 of a second. Just shy of a full second now. Albert Henriksen Bell is clear of Jordan Taylor. Gabriel Norse losing out to the duo up the road and falling back into the grasp of Nicky Taylor, who has really been caught by Nathan Williams over the past lap. 10 minutes and 50 seconds still to go over the start finish line in towards turn 1, and Nathan Williams is really applying that pressure. He wants to get inside the top 4, and it was made somewhat easy by Nicky Taylor as he ran wide on the exit of turn 1, and that just hampered his momentum along the avenue in towards Cascades. Position secured. Nathan Williams up into 4th place. Charlie Devlin now fighting away with Thomas Potter, sells the outside, then dives to the inside for the cutback, and position made for Charlie Devlin. Nathan Williams has got yet further up the order. He's got through and past Nicky Taylor and Gabriel Norse. Gabriel Norse has dropped down into 5th. He was in 3rd place just a few moments ago, so clearly an issue for Gabriel Norse. So as Nicky Taylor loses one, he gains one back, but that now promotes Nathan Williams up into 3rd place with 5 seconds to gain between himself and race leader Albert Henriksen Bell, and we've just ticked past the halfway point, so it's not impossible for Nathan Williams. At the moment, finishing where he is, he would be crowned champion, pending post-race review, of course. So all results throughout this evening mentioned will be provisional. But Nathan Williams, he needed to finish inside the top 9, and at the moment, in 3rd place, that is more than enough for his championship aspirations. There is Elliot Newbury continuing to apply yet more pressure onto Jake Critchley for the final spot inside that top 10, with Carl Felvis retired from the race. Jordan Taylor is dangerously close to wrapping up his senior class championship aspirations as well. Here comes Elliot Newbury, a big look to the inside of Jake Critchley on the brakes in towards Lodge Corner. Brilliant move by Elliot Newbury. Jake Critchley was wise to the move and tried not to hamper his exit, so he will still be with him. And I've got a feeling the battle for the final spot inside that top 10 is going to rage on for the next 8 minutes and 54 seconds until we see that checkered flag. Elliot Newbury, the body language of the car, you could see the rear really fighting and scrambling for grip. So he's pushing on, wanting to make up yet further positions, albeit it's 3.5 seconds before he will meet the next position. That would be Jacob Gannon, and a pair of them would be in 2 separate classes as well, so it wouldn't get him championship points in relation to those cars around him. Callum Williams was one of the cars that was caught up in the, I think, first lap scramble. There is Sam Chilton rejoining the circuit and tumbling down the order. Callum Williams is doing what he can to recover what's left of his race number 1. Closest cars we've got on circuit, I actually think, are Charlie Devlin and Leo Bell for 6th and 7th place respectively. I think Charlie Devlin is applying yet further pressure. Callum Williams struggling to get the car slowed down onto the grass. He will go with the island hairpin. For Charlie Devlin, now almost within 1/10 of a second of Leo Bell. We could see a change for 6th and 7th place. And whilst it isn't a battle for class position, it's a battle for overall position, and Charlie Devlin just about sort of rattles his way up the inside at the entrance of Druids. By the time they go under the vehicle bridge, position made for Charlie Devlin. In towards Lodge Corner once again they will go, and continues to chip away at the cars up the road. By way of drivers we've got that have had penalties applied, let's have a brief look at the timing screen. So we've got Callum Williams has been applied a 5-second penalty. Peter Cornelius has also received one. Ollie Wilcox has received one as well, and Gunnar Wright has clearly been caught out by the stewards for extending track limits on one too many occasions and awarded a 5-second time penalty to be applied post-race. On the exit of Cascades, Leo Bell, I think he's just trying to keep tabs on Charlie Devlin. And that will get harder and harder as the race goes on, because whilst the cars get lighter, Charlie Devlin throughout the race so far has just had those extra couple of hundredths of a second to edge his way ever into the distance. Gabriel Norse is falling into the clutches of Charlie Devlin as well. So on the exit of Knickerbrook, Charlie Devlin continues to apply yet further pressure on to Gabriel Norse, and we may see that pressure finally come to something, because Charlie Devlin will be on the inside for Druids Corner. Charlie on the inside, and yet nothing much that Gabriel Norse could do by way of a response, and that was a position an in-class position as well. So 3rd place in class has just swapped around. Charlie Devlin looking back from, you can see just how close Gabriel Norse is, almost contact between the pair of them, but with a season of racing under their belt, they know how each other drive and know the proximity in which they can get within or with each other. Nathan Williams goes through to set the fastest lap of the race. I think Charlie Devlin got dangerously close to bettering it on that lap. I just need to refresh the timing on my end. So Nathan Williams went through to post a 1:45.388, the fastest lap we've seen all race long. Charlie Devlin was on for the fastest lap of the race, albeit with an overtake in the final sector. That just cost him that little bit of time which he was hoping for. Albert Henriksen Bell isn't that far away from receiving a track limits warning. Catherine Potter has received a 5-second time penalty to be added post-race for extending track limits, but Albert with a 1.4 second lead, he doesn't really need to worry about pushing on so much and potentially going over track limits, because that would drop him down to, I think it still only would be 3rd place, albeit he would much prefer that win. So Aaron Beattie is starting to close in on Jack Price. This is for 12th and 13th on the road and a position in class as well. So at the moment they are 8th and 9th in the junior class. Jordan Taylor, Nicky Taylor and Leo Bell is your current top 3 in the senior class. By way of the junior class, it is Albert Henriksen Bell leading the way outright, and of course leading that junior category. Nathan Williams second in class and Charlie Devlin third. Up Clay Hill goes Ollie Hutton, applying the pressure onto Callum Williams, who's had a troubled race up until this point, still with 3.5 minutes to go. He may just about lose a place here. Ollie Hutton on the inside, on the brakes at Druids Corner, bounces over the curb, and position made. The KKM car making it look easy. The vehicle bridge they go once again towards Lodge Corner. Aaron Beattie, I think, finally dislodges Jack Price from 12th place, pardon me, and that allows him just to pick his way through. But Jack Price fights back on the exit of turn number 1 along the avenue, and he's back up into 12th. Aaron Beattie really having to work for this, but late on the brakes in towards Cascades, gets the car all crossed up, back under his spell, crossed up once again, rattles into the side of Jack Price, who goes for a spin. Unfortunately, Jack Price was defending valiantly for 12th place, but Aaron Beattie does indeed go rattling through and will inherit 12th place. Matt Raid and Gunnar Wright go through as well, so Jack Price falls yet further down the order. Peter Cornelius goes through as well. Jack Price now down into 16th place. Nicky Taylor and Charlie Devlin have just swapped around, I believe. Yes, they have. So Charlie Devlin up into 4th place on the road. We're starting to see yet more drivers get caught out by the track limits offences, namely Thomas Potter and Finley both being applied 5-second time penalties post-race. Matt Raid losing out a couple of places there. That was to the recovering Jack Price, and I think Peter Cornelius went through the same gap. But Matt Raid not willing to give up on that one. Ollie Wilcox having another spin down at the Island Hairpin. We've seen him lose out on the exit of Lodge Corner, I think, just a number of laps ago. Sam Chilton fighting valiantly with Finley TW. Finley, after just being awarded a 5-second time penalty, loses a place and drops down into 20th. Albert Henriksen Bell's lead has extended up to the best part of 1.7 seconds now. Nathan Williams within 1.6 of Jordan Taylor. Riding on board with Matt Raid. Slightly delayed for the gear, I think, on the apex. That cost him a bit of momentum. Heading through Lodge Corner, over D Elite P will go, right up to the top of the rev range. We've seen Elliot Newbury carving his way through the order. A small mistake on the exit of turn 1 cost him dear, and that's dropped him not only outside the top 10, but right the way down into 12th, potentially even 13th. There was a car fast approaching as well, so we may see yet further changes for Elliot Newbury, but for the moment I think he is somewhat safe in 12th place. There is Matt Raid, 16th place, and unfortunately losing a bit of time to Jack Price on this lap, so he's really going to have to fight his way back through. Talking of fighting, Sam Chilton and Finley TW then, battle is not over yet. They continue to scrap away at turn 1. Bit of shoulder barging between them, but Sam Chilton fights his way back into what is 19th place. Finley was looking for the inside in towards Cascades. Along the Island Straight they will go, and Finley, unfortunately, I think he's just dropped that little bit too far back to look for an opportunity on the brakes in towards the Island Hairpin. Heading on to the final lap in a few moments' time will go the man we're watching now. That is Albert Henriksen Bell. He's being hunted down by Jordan Taylor, but Jordan just doesn't quite have enough. He's hoping to hold on to 2nd place and take the win in the senior class. But Albert Henriksen Bell was in the right place at the right time, and it was just enough to go through and inherit the lead of the race. That looked rather close on track limits, and we know he wasn't that far away from receiving a track limits penalty. So hopefully on the final lap of the race, Albert Henriksen Bell can keep it within those white lines. Peter Cornelius filling the mirrors of Jack Price, having just lost out to the car now in 14th place, the number 71 machine. Over DL Epen heading on to their final lap. There's plenty of battles just dotted around the Oulton Park Island circuit in which we're racing on this evening. But as you can see at the top of your screen, the clock has ticked to 0. Albert Henriksen Bell just picking his way through the right, left and right of the chicane and then Knickerbrook towards Clay Hill for the final time. Bouncing over the curb, and you can see just how active he has to be on the steering wheel to just keep the car pointing the right way and keep that momentum as useful and as high as possible, including that minimum speed in towards Druids. Let's see what he does through here. Is it a dab of brakes? It's sort of a lift, a half lift. Touch the first curb, but try and keep it as tight into the right as possible. And again, just very little steering movement through there to maximise the momentum in towards Lodge Corner. You'd imagine the car will squirm around a little bit on braking, flicking the car in, throwing on plenty of lock through the final corner for the final time over the Elite, and the checkered flag being readied. Albert Henriksen Bell will come through to take the win in race number 1 here at Oulton Park. Wins outright, and of course wins the junior class. Jordan Taylor goes through to finish in 2nd place, and to win the senior class, Nathan Williams and Charlie Devlin finish 3rd and 4th, and that falls into 2nd and 3rd in the junior class. Nicky Taylor goes through to round out your top 5 outright and to finish 2nd in the senior class. Gabriel Norse in 6th place. Leo Bell finishes 7th and rounds out your podium for the senior class. Thomas Potter over the line in 8th place. Jordan Gannon in 9th. Jake Critchley just goes through to break the beam to round out your top 10. And it will be Aaron Beattie over the line in 11th place. Elliot Newbury, after a couple of shortcomings throughout that race, recovers the car to 12th place. It will then be just about Gunnar Wright over the line to finish in 13th. Jack Price over the line in 14th. Followed then by Peter Cornelius in 15th place. Matt Reid under pressure from Ollie Hutton on the final lap of the race, but those two come through across the line 16th and 17th respectively. Sam Chilton has just gone through and taken a position away from Callum Williams. Finley has gone through to take a position away from Callum Williams. I think we've had an issue for Callum somewhere on the final lap of the race. Yes, we have. As he underfueled the car, he's limping the car over Dia Leap, and yeah, that car really, really struggling and not being able to take the checkered flag. So Sam Chilton over the line in 18th place. Finley over the line in 19th. Ollie Wilcox rounds out your top 20. Catherine Potter over the line 21st. And we thought we were only going to see one retirement by way of Carl Feldes. But unfortunately, on the very final lap of the race, Callum Williams runs out of fuel on the run to the line and will be classified in 22nd place. Our 2 class winners join us in the commentary box. Albert Henriksen Bell, will start with you first. That's not a bad start to the final round of the season, is it?
It's quite good. It's my first win PASR, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, massive congratulations. It's not an easy thing to do. We know just how close the racing can be, and it wasn't a case of just being in the right place at the right time and the win being afforded to you. You then lost out to Jordan. You had to fight for it back, and it was a proper race. You really have earned that, so it's been a long time coming. But in terms of race 2 now, that means you're starting at the very back. That's a complete different beast, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm somewhat lucky because I'm almost certain there's going to be quite a fair bit of carnage in front of me. My main goal is just to finish quite a fair bit ahead of Gabriel, who I think is currently P2. And hopefully, if I can finish far enough ahead of him, that should put me in 2nd at the end of the championship.
Well, that would be dream scenario, wouldn't it? And there's only really 2 of you that can decide the positions in which you finish. So I'll leave that part to you in race number 2, Albert, and exactly how you and Gabriel will figure that one out amongst yourselves. Like I say, I'll leave that to you. But Oulton Park, it brings a unique challenge to the calendar because Brands Hatch, short circuit, momentum based, plenty of undulation, but only really 3 corners to worry about. Oulton Park is a nice mix of effectively Brands Hatch and Croft, really, isn't it? There's lots of undulation change, a mix of fast and slower corners, and it's quite a complex drive.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just trying to think of other circuits, and I think it probably is the most complex circuit on the calendar. Croft, very close, but I think there's just some bumps around here that make it just that bit harder to drive.
Yeah, it really looks like a challenge, and you get to do it all again for another 20 minutes in race number 2. So I wish you the best of luck and allow you to go and get ready. But massive congratulations, Albert. That's P1 not only in class, but P1 outright as well. So good to chat to Albert Henriksen Bell, your outright race winner and senior class race winner in race number 1 this evening. Also joining us in the commentary box, Jordan Taylor, 2nd overall and winning the senior class. That's exactly what you would have wanted for your championship. I think that's it pretty much wrapped up. Of course, provisionally, post-race reviews and what have you, but I think that's pretty much it. You did everything you needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlucky. I was just speaking to Carl just then. It seems like he had an issue I had in the first run of race 2 last week, where it wasn't putting me on the grid. So it's a shame it's ended like that, because it would have been good to battle it out. But yeah, I mean, it was a good race. There was carnage ahead. I got through. Then me and Albert had a bit of a battle, and I was like, it's not worth it for me to battle. And I remembered that Albert didn't go ahead and gets near, I'll defend it and get Albert his first opportunity.
Yeah.
He's close, and he puts the laps in, week out, and he fully deserves his win.
Yeah, it really does. It like I say, it's not an easy thing to do. And I guess for you, this final round, is it more damage limitation now and just making sure you get to the end and pick up the points where you can, or is it going for that final race win of the season?
I would like to say I'd try to be smart, but I love a reverse good race. I love battling through the pack, so I'll try to have some fun with it. Nothing too stupid, got to keep my nose clean. But yeah, I won't be backing off. I'll still drive normally. I just might be a bit more hesitant than usual.
Great stuff. Well, we'll look forward to it. Massive congratulations, Jordan, and best of luck for race number 2.
Cheers.
So good to chat to our race 1 winners, and in a few moments time obviously we'll see the grid forming for race number 2, but just by way of allowing me some time to go and get a very brief refreshment, we will have another quick word from our sponsors for this evening. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final race of the inaugural season of the TOCA Juniors official eSeries. The final reverse grid race of the season has formed. Catherine Potter will line up on pole position. Ollie Wilcox alongside. Finley TW starts row number 2 with Sam Chilton for company. Row 3 of the grid is Ollie Hutton and Matt Raid. Who is going to get the best start? Keep an eye on those drivers towards the tail end of the order as the red lights come on. When they go out, a long hold. Catherine Potter, I think, gets caught out by the slightly longer hold. Good start for Finley. Good start for Jack Price in the background as well. Nathan Williams has a lightning start as he tries to cut his way through the order. So too does Thomas Potter, all the way around the outside. Big move for Ollie Wilcox. He just about nips through to take the lead. So Ollie Wilcox with a very brave move all the way around the outside. A bit more contact in the background as we go along the avenue. A car spits back across the road, and unfortunately caught up in that one was another driver. We'll try and keep an eye on who that is dropping down the order. Gunnar Wright has been caught up. So too was Aaron Beattie. And the change for second place now takes place. Finley TW up the inside of Catherine Potter. Late on the brakes is Sam Chilton. He tries to go through the same gap. A bit of contact on the brakes between the two KKM cars. Charlie Devlin committed on the brakes. That spins him through 90 degrees. He gets righted by Thomas Potter and I think Jordan Taylor as he bounces off Nathan Williams in the background as well. So it's really congested in the background. We were 3, almost 4 wide there, I think, on the exit of the Island hairpin. There is Albert Henriksen Bell also in the mix, of course, race 1 winner. He's trying to carve his way through the order. Nicky Taylor getting involved. Callum Williams goes through a brief off-track excursion, and Nicky Taylor carving his way through. Nathan Williams goes very wide on the exit of Knickerbrook. I think unaware that Albert Henriksen Bell was on his inside. That costs Albert a bit of momentum as he climbs up Clay Hill. That will allow Charlie Devlin to apply yet further pressure. Leo Bell and Jordan Taylor swapping around. Callum Williams and Nathan Williams swapping around, and we do indeed see Charlie Devlin up into 13th place. Jacob Gannon losing out to a couple of cars there. I think Gabriel Norse overtook 2 cars on the grass just by way of some sort of avoidance. Ollie Hutton dropping down the order as well. But what an action-packed first lap. I think it's the only way you can put it. Jordan Taylor getting shuffled out wide there by, or Nicky Taylor, pardon me, getting shuffled out wide by Jack Price. And all of a sudden, it's very, very congested in the background. Leo Bell involved in that little battle. So too is Albert Henriksen Bell. So too is Jordan Taylor. Charlie Devlin leading that pack in towards turn 1. And now they almost form a nice, orderly single file line. That's not going to remain the same over the next 17.5 minutes. Sam Chilton looking to go for second place all the way around the outside at Cascades. Brilliant, brilliant move from Sam Chilton. Up into second place, through and past Finlay. Ollie Wilcox leading the way at the moment with a 2.5 second lead margin. He's got 17.5 seconds to look after it. Charlie Devlin was off the road for a brief moment. Albert Henriksen Bell up the inside of Jacob Gannon, who I think just over-rotated the car on his own. I don't remember seeing any contact. Nicky Taylor now finds himself pointing the wrong way. Gets back going once again, unfortunately. Right the way down in 19th place, 20th place as Aaron Beattie just nips his way through and past. We had a car off the road there on the right-hand side. That was Ollie Wilcox from the lead. So Ollie Wilcox has lost the lead of the race after a moment in towards the chicane. 3 wide into Knickerbrook isn't done very often. Albert Henriksen Bell unfortunately spins through 90 degrees, gets the car going again, but what was looking like a good double point scoring finish for him, that's dropped him right the way down the order into what is 14th place. There is Catherine Potter holding on to 7th place, up and behind Jordan Taylor. Albert Henriksen Bell losing yet further places, this time to Jacob Gannon. Callum Williams really isn't too far away as they head towards Druids. Aaron Beattie looking for a move up the inside of Callum Williams, got the car all sorts of crossed up. That's cost him a bit of time. Callum Williams gets all caught up on the exit of Druids as well, and Nicky Taylor might just pick up 2 places here, 1 from Aaron Beattie and 1 from Jordan Gannon, who's in there somewhere as well. So Jordan Taylor or Nicky Taylor, pardon me. So Nicky Taylor spins through 180 degrees, I think, just trying to make up for the poor start that he had with a bit of contact. On the exit of Lodge Corner, finds himself looking back at the Lodge. Nathan Williams up into 12th place after getting through and past Leo Bell. Gabriel Norse all the way around the outside of Finlay. Finlay's going to be looking at what he's doing wrong through there, because that's twice in the space of 2 laps. Sam Chilton a lap ago for what was at the time second place. Turns out it was for the race lead. And now Gabriel Norse around the outside for 3rd place. Elliot Newbury on the brakes in towards the Island Hairpin up the inside of Finlay. And trying to go through the same gap is Kyle Felvis, who has managed to take part in race number 2 and recover what's left of his championship aspirations, albeit his championship rival Jordan Taylor is only a couple of spots, only 1 spot behind now in 5th place. There is Charlie Devlin leading that mid-pack, but there is Jordan Taylor through and past Finlay. He will go up into 5th place, and he will see what was for a brief moment a very bouncy Kyle Felvis as he attacks the curb in towards the chicane in Knickerbrook. Up Clay Hill go our leading quartet. Jordan Taylor trying to make it 5 for the lead. Up the inside goes Kyle Felvis of Elliot Newbury. That will be for 3rd place on the road, and when we see Jordan Taylor get there, that will be a battle for the race lead in terms of the senior class. But Gabriel Norse goes through and past Sam Chilton for the outright race lead. That leaves Sam Chilton now vulnerable to Kyle Felvis and Elliot Newbury. And Kyle Felvis just about found the gap to close on Elliot Newbury, and just about found a gap on the inside of Sam Chilton. Big moment for Jordan Taylor. I think he managed to get that moment collected. Yes, he did. He emerges over the elite and still attacking those 4 cars up the road. So it's Kyle Felvis now for the lead in towards turn 1. Kyle Felvis leads from Elliot Newbury, just about up the inside of Gabriel Norse. Those 2 now fall into line. So Kyle Felvis leads from Gabriel Norse. Elliot Newbury in 3rd place ahead of Sam Chilton and Jordan Taylor, who is eager to make up places. So Kyle, your outright race leader and leading the senior class. Gabriel Norse and Elliot Newbury are fighting away not only for 2nd and 3rd at the final couple of spots on the outright podium, but for the lead in the junior class as well. Sam Chilton is 3rd in class at the moment, in 4th place, 5th place, as Jordan Taylor rattles his way up the inside. He's going to be hunting down Kyle Felvis. He wants the outright race win, but he also wants to make it a clean sweep here this evening at Oulton Park and win both races in the senior class. Sam Chilton helping himself to the rear bumper of Jordan Taylor, I think, on the run in towards the braking zone for the chicane. There is Sam Chilton just currently waiting for those revs to rise. It sounded like he was almost a gear too high there, and the engine just wasn't quite comfortable in third place through the chicane. Jacob Gannon is hunting down Jake Critchley at the moment. 13 minutes of this race to go as we watch Jacob make the ascent at Clay Hill. Leo Bell just that little bit further up the road. Thomas Potter at the moment in 11th place. Finley losing out yet further as Charlie Devlin goes through, and there is Nathan Williams trying to make up for the troublesome start to his race. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams, they always seem to find each other out there on circuit, and it's always a brilliant battle to watch between the pair of them. I think we may have a few 5-second penalties already rolling in, Albert Henriksen Bell being one, Jake Critchley being another, and Gunnar Wright getting caught up by the 5-second time penalty for track limits. Catherine Potter spins through 180 degrees, and that's a blind section of circuit because over the crest, the exit of Lodge Corner, comes Nikki Taylor. Catherine Potter does the very sensible thing of pulling the car over to the inside where cars theoretically shouldn't be on the exit of Lodge Corner. Jordan Taylor hunting down Elliot Newbury. Matt Reid has gone for a bit of a moment on the exit of Lodge Corner as well. That undulation change catching a number of drivers out. I don't know whether there was contact between himself and Catherine Potter. Over the line they will go with just shy of 12 minutes of their race to go. Charlie Devlin going through on Jack Price. Unfortunately, he's trying to put as many cars between himself and Nathan Williams, but as soon as Charlie Devlin makes a gap, Nathan Williams goes for the same one. So it's really take one step forward and one back for Charlie Devlin. Nathan Williams so committed on the brakes in towards the chicane, somehow managed to get the car slowed down, and the gap between himself and Charlie Devlin remains minimal. It's only, 2 or 3 car lengths as they attack Clay Hill once again. The lead gap between Carl Felvis and Gabriel Norse has extended up to 1.2 seconds. Elliot Newbury a similar margin back in third place. Jordan Taylor now within half a second of Elliot Newbury and within half a second of the outright podium. So it's about 3 seconds that Jordan Taylor needs to make up. We were speaking to him at the end of race 1 and he said he just wants to keep this conservative, but he will still be his normal self and attack for places. There goes Jordan Taylor up the inside of Elliot Newbury in towards Lodge Corner. Charlie Devlin does the same on Sam Chilton, and Nathan Williams tries to go through that same gap once again. Approaching the halfway point in this race, Nathan Williams does indeed get through and past Sam Chilton. That will be position secured by the time they're on the brakes at turn number 1. Through goes Nathan Williams up into 6th place, still chasing down Charlie Devlin. Charlie Devlin, who is now 3rd in the junior class, 5th overall. Who is currently 3rd in the senior class? That will be Leo Bell down in 12th place. So that shows the field spread at the moment in the senior class. Carl Felvis leading the race outright and currently holding the torch in the senior category. Elliot Newbury, having lost out to Jordan Taylor, isn't going to let him get away and isn't going to let him hold on to it easily. Gabriel Norse, just flashing through the left-hand side of your screen now, is losing yet more time to Kyle Felvis. Jordan Taylor has got still now, 3.5 seconds to make up on Kyle Felvis. I think he knows it's a very outside chance of an outright race win, but he will still want to maximise the best points possible coming into this race. I'm just looking at points. Nathan Williams has provisionally wrapped up the junior championship. There was a singular point between Albert Henriksen Bell and Gabriel Norse. Gabriel Norse is currently sat in 2nd place. Albert Henriksen Bell is in 9th and carrying a 5-second time penalty. So if Gabriel Norse can hold on to any position in front of Albert Henriksen Bell, that would be 2nd place awarded to him. Charlie Devlin, who is closing down on Gabriel Norse, might still outscore Albert Henriksen Bell enough to get himself up into 3rd place in the championship. However, Albert's clearly listening. He's up into 8th place through and past Jack Price. Jordan Taylor, I think mathematically hasn't wrapped up the championship yet. However, any points scored in this race should be enough. But keeping an eye on Elliot Newbury, now he loses that little bit of time to Jordan Taylor, and that should just be enough to unleash the powers that be on that top 2, because Jordan Taylor 2.5 seconds away from Gabriel Norse, and will try and bring that down yet further over the next couple of laps. Albert Henriksen Bell with another position gained. through and past Sam Chilton, so he's going to make it hard work. Any mistake will cost you dear, even on this final round, final race of the season. Ollie Wilcox, unfortunately, has brought an end to his race and championship. And just looking over the previous results, we haven't had an outright race winner in the senior class. Every single race has been won by a junior class driver. So if Kyle Felvers can hold on to this race lead, he will be effectively the first and final senior class race winner. Unfortunately, Leo Bell, very confident on the brakes, maybe too confident, into the side of Finley. That spins him through 180 degrees. So through goes Leo Bell up into 10th place. Thomas Potter gains 1 for 11th. Jordan Gannon, Aaron Beattie and Callum Williams do much the same to 12th, 13th and 14th respectively. Gabriel Norse and Jordan Taylor continuing to improve upon their respective lap times. And let's not forget, Carl Felvers didn't take part in race 1, so he wasn't eligible for the reverse grid. So he started at the very back of the grid, very much a Nathan Williams-esque performance. And he's got himself to the front with a 1.6 second margin over Gabriel Norse. So Carl Felvers doing everything he can to take the outright race win and go out with a bang for the final time this season. Just under 7 minutes of the season still to go. Looking at Nicky Taylor, he's been caught up in a number of accidents so far this race. Looking to the outside of Finley by the time they arrive at turn 1, then looking for the cutback on the exit along the avenue, gets the superior momentum and will try and carry that all the way down to Cascades, and position made before they even get to little right hand kink. So Carl Felvers continuing to lead the way, 1.8 seconds now. Thomas Potter gets himself inside that top 10, albeit very briefly. I think it was the inside for Thomas Potter, but Leo Bell looked for that cutback and managed to hold on to 10th place. Peter Cornelius works his way through and past Finley. He's just hemorrhaging places. It makes you think he's picked up some damage at some point in this race. Callum Williams has picked up a 5-second time penalty. I think we also had somebody else that I missed out. Finley, I think, is carrying a 5-second time penalty as well. Yes, he is. So they're really getting dished out in the final race of the season. Charlie Devlin only half a second away from Elliot Newbury, and that will be for 2nd place in the junior class. So let's see what Charlie can do on the brakes in towards Lodge Corner. Just that little bit too far back, and I think it's going to be a matter of when and not if, because with 5.5 minutes of the race to go, Charlie Devlin really isn't that far away from Elliot Newbury. You can hear him right the way up the rev range, filling the mirrors. A look to the inside, heading in towards turn 1 on the brakes. Tries to get on that throttle a slight bit earlier, does so along the avenue, getting closer and closer and closer. Looks for a gap on the inside, and is there just about a Charlie Devlin's width? Yes, there is. In towards Cascades, Charlie Devlin goes through and picks up a place on that of Elliot Newbury. Elliot Newbury will now be vulnerable to the attack of Nathan Williams, who isn't that far away at the moment. On the brakes, flicks the car in. Of course, the pair of those two are teammates, Charlie Devlin and Elliot Newbury, so I don't think it was going to get fought that hard. Nathan Williams is closing in on to Elliot Newbury. I think Nathan Williams is going to get this position on the brakes in towards the chicane. Yes, he is. So flicks the car up the inside. Elliot Newbury, in the space of just a couple of corners, down from 4th to 6th place. And that drops him off the podium in the junior class. Up Clay Hill will go Elliot Newbury. Is he going to fight back? He's closing and closing. By the time we get to Druids, will he be close enough to go for a move? I think he just might. No, a push to Nathan Williams just to try and help him up the road and effectively attack his teammate, I think is what Elliot Newbury is dictating there. Jordan Taylor 3.7 seconds away from Gabriel Norse. Gabriel Norse 2.3 seconds away for Kyle Felvers. So the top 3 are, well, the top 2 are running around on their own. Top 3, not the case, because Charlie Devlin, having just got through and past Elliot Newbury and trying to run away from Nathan Williams as best as possible, is now tucked underneath the rear wing of Jordan Taylor. Jordan Taylor, you'd imagine, won't fight it that hard. He's 3rd overall, but in something of a secure 2nd place in class. Along the avenue, And then in towards Cascades once more. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in your inaugural season of the TOCA Juniors official E-Series. Charlie Devlin is applying yet more pressure. He wants to get onto the outright podium for the final time this season. Jordan Taylor nipping his way up the inside of Aaron Beattie. That leaves Aaron Beattie vulnerable to the attentions of Jacob Gannon. Jacob Gannon does indeed get through, or does he on the outside? Thomas Potter has picked up a 5-second time penalty. Jacob Gannon and Aaron Beattie are absolutely side by side on the brakes in towards the island hairpin. We may see a change. Charlie Devlin takes an initial stab at Jordan Taylor, but it's not quite enough, and that battle we were watching between Jacob Gannon and Aaron Beattie unfortunately ends in contact, and I think, yeah, Callum Williams was caught up in that one as well. Aaron Beattie gets back going once again, leaves plenty of room on the inside for, I think that's Jake Critchley trying to go through. Thomas Potter picks up another place on Sam Chilton. Or have those two swapped around? I remember saying Thomas Potter has got inside the top 10. I think maybe a small mistake from Thomas, and that's put that 10th place under threat from Sam Chilton. Jacob Gannon still struggling with that car. I don't know whether he picked up damage in that earlier accident, and that has just dropped him down the order yet further, down into 19th place for Jacob. We saw him fighting away for what was at the time, I think that was, what, 12th or 13th place. Jordan Taylor has indeed fended off the attacks from Charlie Devlin for now, but that's dropped Charlie Devlin into the clutches of Nathan Williams. With 1 minute and 40 seconds to go, we will still get this lap and one more to go. Charlie Devlin really needs to think about not only attack now, but maybe a bit of defence, with still 2 rotations of the Oulton Park Island circuit left in his season. On the brakes in towards the island hairpin goes Charlie Devlin. A big lock up from Nathan Williams in the background. Charlie Devlin has picked up a 5-second time penalty. So no matter what he does on track over these next couple of laps, it won't really dictate where he will finish. It's more damage limitation for him, whilst it may only drop him down to, what, 6th place. Charlie Devlin late on the brakes, rattling up the inside of Jordan Taylor. Plenty of contact on the run through the chicane, through Knickerbrook. Far from decided. Jordan Taylor on the outside, Charlie Devlin on the inside. He finally manages to get the key into the lock, manages to get the door open, but also involved in that was Nathan Williams, as he capitalises on the contact between the pair of them that cost them a bit of time. So Nathan Williams on the inside of Charlie Devlin on the run through Druids. The pair of them draw themselves level, and on the exit they are still level with each other. Jordan Taylor, I think, will try and help Nathan Williams up the inside of Charlie Devlin. No, door firmly shut, and Charlie Devlin for now holds on to 3rd place. He is, of course, fighting for the 2nd step on the podium in the junior class. Nathan Williams is on the inside at Deer Leap. That will evolve for the outside of turn number 1. Over the start-finish line they go. Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams absolutely silhouette together. Jordan Taylor now looking to fight back on the inside of Nathan Williams. On to the final lap of the race they go. All of this battling is allowing Elliot Newbury just to get closer and closer and closer in towards Cascades for the final time this season. Charlie Devlin in 3rd place, Nathan Williams in 4th, Jordan Taylor in 5th place, separated by under a full second. I think it's under 3/4 of a second that separates them. On the brakes in towards the island hairpin, Nathan Williams with an initial look, I think more just to unsettle that of Charlie Devlin up the road. But I think the main story we can take away from this evening is not only our first senior class outright race winner, but Kyle Felvers, who had technical issues in race number 1, meaning he couldn't take part. So he did not start race number 1. He wasn't eligible for the reverse grid, so he had to start from the very, very back on the final race of your inaugural TOCA Junior official E-Series season. And he's now got himself to the front, extended that lead margin to the point of 3.5 seconds over Gabriel Norse, Charlie Devlin and Nathan Williams, who we've been watching, and of course Jordan Taylor. But Kyle Felvers will come through to take the final win of the year, but the first outright win of the year for the senior class as a whole. So Kyle Felvers emerges over Deer Leap, And over the start-finish line, Kyle Felvis wins here at Oulton Park and naturally takes the win in the senior class. Gabriel Norse comes through to finish in second place and to take the final junior class win of the year. Who will it be? For third, fourth and fifth place will be Charlie Devlin, Nathan Williams, Jordan Taylor and Elliot Newbury. Alba Henriksen Bell crosses the line in seventh place. Of course, there may still be post-race shuffling as penalties are applied. Jordan Taylor finishes second in the senior class. Your top three in the junior class are second, third and fourth on the road. Leo Bell rounds out your senior class podium. Thomas Potter over the line in ninth place, who was being hunted down by Nicky Taylor. He just ran out of laps. Jack Price in 11th place. Sam Chilton struggling to the line. Peter Cornelius and Ollie Hutton go through to finish in 12th and 13th. Will Sam Chilton even hold on to 14th? No, Callum Williams beats him to the line for 14th place. Sam Chilton crosses the line in 15th. Aaron Beattie in 16th place. Finley over the line in 17th. Jake Critchley in 18th place. Then we await the arrival of Jacob Gannon, who goes through to break the beam now, and we expect Matt Raid to appear next, in which he does. Matt Raid coming towards the line now to finish in 20th place, and then it will be Catherine Potter and Gunnar Wright to round out your 22 finishes. Unfortunately, we did lose Ollie Wilcox through that race. And now we will, of course, get the opportunity to speak to a number of our drivers. We're just trying to figure out exactly who we will award driver of the race to, so we will just take a very brief break, chat amongst ourselves, and then we'll be back with you in about a minute's time. So welcome back, everybody. And we've still not decided who's going to get driver of the round, but we have some structure as to how we're going to speak to our drivers. So in terms of race winners, let's start with Carl Felvis. The story of the night, really. Race number 1 didn't go your way, technical issues in race 1. Race 2, you didn't qualify for reverse grid, so you started at the back. You are not only our first senior class or outright race winner of the season, you've done it on the final round, so nobody can take that away from you, but you did it from the back of the grid. That's a mega achievement.
Yeah, I mean, you know, reverse grid's normally my speciality. I do love a reverse grid. Just working my way through the pack, and I sort of went in the mindset of there's nothing to lose because the championship had already gone out the window after the game gave me issues, but you know, it was just a race to forget, really. Race 1.
Race 2, I mean, talk us through it, because that's 22 places gained from the very back of the grid. Granted, there was sort of excitement, let's refer to it as, throughout the race between a number of drivers, so that may have opened a few doors, but you didn't just sort of get to the front, you extended that margin, and that's then consistency. It's making sure the car will make it to the end, keeping it within the white lines to minimise the chance of a penalty. That's quite a high to end a season on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the pace was definitely there. It was always there from the start of quali. I mean, going into race 2, like you said, the mindset was just push forward. I had nothing to lose, and I think I've had a lot of experience with reverse grids, and I know how to use my head in a way to actually make up positions. It's not about who's next to you on the track, it's about what's going on up ahead. And if you keep your eyes forward, then you've got more chance of actually getting through.
Well, massive congratulations, Kyle. It really was a fabulous performance in the final race of the year. So for the final time, thank you very much for joining us. And do you have anybody you'd like to say a quick thank you to?
I guess my team Phoenix, I mean, they do a lot, especially for mental health charities. I mean, big shout out to them, the work they do for them. And they've given me the opportunity to drive in this championship, so I can't be more grateful for them. And yeah.
Great stuff. Massive congratulations, Kyle, and it's been a pleasure talking to you once again. And hopefully, should it happen, we'll see you next season.
Cheers, Jack.
So great to talk to Carl Felbus. In terms of our junior class race winner, that was second place on the road. Gabriel Norse joins us in the commentary box. Gabriel, talk us through the race from your perspective, because it was quite busy at the start, wasn't it?
Yeah, the start was definitely where it all kicked off. Into the hairpin, someone went for a big lunge, and I just saw a sea of people wash out wide, and I went up the inside, and then from there I kind of just made my way through. And it was just kind of managing from then and just not getting any off tracks to not get a penalty.
Well, it was brilliant to watch, because Carl Felbus, he's a returning driver. We see him a lot on Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing, and you weren't really letting him run away up the road. You were matching him for pace, so that's got to be a big motivator for further series. Do you think we'll see you back with PASR once again? And obviously, the more time you spend in the sim, the quicker you're going to get, and that's a dangerous thought, because you're not slow.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing a few more championships. I mean, I didn't do a lot of practice for this round, and I was still like a pretty decent pace. And yeah, Kyle's definitely very fast, and he's definitely had a lot of experience. So being able to keep up with him was quite a strong bit.
No, absolutely. Well, I think you'll have a few drivers looking over their shoulders, especially if this is what you can do on little practice. Let's see what you can do with lots, and of course that experience will just breed more and more speed. So we'll look forward to seeing that in place. But thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Massive congratulations for a class win in the final round of the TOCA Junior Official eSeries. Again, anybody you'd like to say a quick thank you to?
Thanks to Sim Demon, because they made my livery and I think it looks really cool.
No, absolutely, definitely one of the most fetching liveries on the grid. But Gabriel, massive thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, thank you.
So great to chat with our race winners. Now let's talk about our provisional championship winners. Of course, there's still a few bits to deal with in the background. We'll go with our, in inverted commas, outright championship winner, most points between any of the classes. So Nathan Williams, we've spoken to you quite a lot this season, and that can only mean one thing: big hauls of points, plenty of wins, walking away with the championship.
Yeah, it's been quite a good season so far. Obviously, I've took quite a few wins and I've really enjoyed it. Tonight wasn't exactly the night I wanted. I had the pace, but I think just it's involved in too many incidents. But it was a good season to look back on.
And in terms of looking back on this season, like you say, good season to look back on. Looking to the future, obviously you've got real racing endeavours, and I'm sure you've got bits going on in private life that will keep you busy. But in terms of seeing you back with PASR, when can we expect to do that?
Well, whenever the next championship is. I really enjoy sim racing, and I want to get back to competing, obviously, whenever the next championship is held. So I'll be looking forward to that.
Great stuff. Definitely something to look forward to. But massive congratulations, Nathan. And for the final time this year, anybody you'd like to say a quick thank you to?
I'd like to thank my parents and my family. They're always very supportive of stuff like this, and they watch all the races. So I'd like to say a big thank you to them.
Great stuff. Massive congratulations, Nathan. It's just been made aware to me you are Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing's most successful driver to date. So massive congratulations, and another championship to add to your tally.
Yeah, thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Nathan. And I think the final driver we're going to speak to, Jordan Taylor. Wow, that seemed like a busy night. No matter where you were fighting with someone. It was brilliant to watch, and I'd say quite a nice way to round out a season.
Yeah, I mean, the start was a bit hectic. I saw someone go for a very eager move, so I tried tucking to the inside, but then I think people just started bouncing off each other. And then I got collected a little bit, which dropped me a bit of momentum because I tried following Gabriel through. But yeah, I tried keeping up, but I was out the slipstream and I wasn't going to be able to keep up. And I made a couple of mistakes and they dropped. Kyle and Gabriel dropped me. Then Charlie and Nathan caught up. I thought I'd have a bit of fun with both of them. Cause a bit of drama. And make the last 2 laps a bit interesting.
But interesting it was. It was great to watch, but leaving the season on 146 points compared to Carl's 119, and obviously points are provisional, still yet to be obviously confirmed. What has it taken to achieve that? Is that just consistency throughout the season, not necessarily winning every single race, but just making sure you're getting a big haul of points?
Yeah, I mean, if you speak to a lot of the other drivers, they say I'm quite aggressive and they don't think I'm clean. But I haven't had a single penalty. I'm pretty sure I won't get one tonight because I haven't been involved with anything. So I'm aggressive but clean. There's a fine line. And I just think I use my head quite a lot when I race. I'll go for a lunge. I'll put my nose there. But I know when to back out. I know when to stay there. And it's just from being with PASR, for example, from the very, very start of the first season JSCC, that's a massive factor in why my racecraft is a lot. The racecraft has built up over the 3 years. I think it's been going to. I don't know, but yeah.
But it clearly works. Well, whatever it is you're doing, it clearly works. Walking away with the provisional senior class championship. But for the final time we're chatting, at least for this season, anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to?
Just everyone behind the scenes at PASR. I'm sure you know, just you as well for commentating every single round. Tom for putting on amazing broadcasts, even though sometimes he isn't happy with them. For example, with the incident last week, we took it on the chin and still did a phenomenal job. So it's just, we wouldn't be able to do this if you weren't here, he wasn't here, and if Mick didn't fund it to put it on. So massive thanks to everyone, and I really appreciate everyone putting it on.
Brilliant stuff. We really appreciate the kind words, Jordan, and hopefully we see you in another championship very, very soon.
Yeah, well, I said this last time, depending if Tom has a very late minute, a brilliant idea, then I unfortunately don't think it will be I think this will be my last full championship. Unless Tom does another championship before July, but I know they're very busy, so I don't think there will be. But to end it on a championship win, if it is my last, it couldn't be better. It's a massive relief. I've been here since the start, and I've been 2 points off winning championships. I've been in contentions and finally done it. So yeah.
No, massive congratulations. Never say never. Hopefully we'll see you again very soon, Jordan. But thank you for joining us. Congratulations for this evening, or congratulations for the season. And hopefully we'll see you very soon.
Cheers, Jack.
Thank you for joining us, Jordan. By way of our driver of the round, we've gone with Jack Price this evening. We saw plenty of him battling consistently. It was really, really good to see. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get him into the commentary box for a quick word. But Jack Price, congratulations. Your PASR cap will be on its way to you very, very soon. Championship standings, what do they look like? Provisional, of course. Nathan Williams, your junior champion, on 156 points. Gabriel Norse on 117. Albert Henriksen Bell with an exciting night walks away on 109. And Charlie Devlin on 102. Elliot Newbury, that little bit further back, in 5th place on 86 points. I'll allow you to go through the points at your own convenience. Plenty of drivers also tied on points as well. Jake Wardle on 25, Sam Chilton on 25, and Gunnar Wright on 25. So count back, it works its way into 12th, 13th and 14th respectively. Jordan Taylor, we've just heard from him, walks away with the senior class championship on 146 points. Kyle Felbus and Leo Bell, only 3 points separated them. With Kyle Felbus winning this evening, he managed to secure 2nd place in the championship. Leo Bell in 3rd, Nicky Taylor in 4th, and Peter Cornelius in 5th place. Who do we have tied on points in the juniors? Callum Williams and Catherine Potter, both on 58 points on countback. That's 9th and 10th respectively. It shows you just how close the championship is. That's 5 drivers tied on points in their respective classes. We could do 4 more rounds. I could see you chatting about that in the chat. It would still be this close. Let's not take away from that. And in terms of how those points relate to what the drivers have won this evening, a pair of weekend admission tickets to a 2025 Quick Fit British Touring Car round of their choosing will be on their way to Jordan Taylor and Nathan Williams for winning their classes. And of course, Jack Price gets his hands on that PASR cap, as well as the previous driver of the rounds which I urge you actually to go and look back at those previous rounds. Give them a watch. They are absolutely brilliant. They are action-packed start to finish, and I have no doubt we will see racing much of the like in future here on PASR. But for the final time this season, from myself, Jack Werrell, in the commentary box, of course, a massive thank you to Tom O'Farrell and 2F Media Productions for producing a brilliant broadcast start to finish. We've seen some very, very close racing, and none of which would be possible if we didn't have Tom working away on the buttons and the cameras in the background. And of course, our series organizer, Mick Sutton at Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing. And of course, a final thank you for those watching along at home and the drivers that took part. I wish you a very good evening, and hopefully we see you very, very soon back here on Perfect Acceleration Sim Racing. Bye-bye.
What?